At first, it didn't look like much. In fact, it looked pretty ugly. But this Art Deco bench had a lot of history hidden inside of it. Welcome to Montford Boulevard, and welcome to the joy of Art Deco furniture. Our aim is to capture the essence of the Roaring 20s and 1930s fashion as we thoughtfully restore and upgrade vintage furniture. Today's project is a neglected bench that had good bones and layers upon layers of history to reveal. Watch as we give this fine piece of Art Deco furniture the makeover it deserves. We are opening with a bit of a surprise today. We actually have 3 bonus items that we're revealing during this video, the first of which is a matching chair. This was part of a set that we purchased. The fabric on here, of course, is not original. It's just barely attached, kind of loose on there. The frames of these pieces were very solid. This piece of trim was loose. We'll have to glue that back down. That's actual wood, not the painted lacquer veneer that you'll see sometimes. This chair had a complete break. Just in one side, had been repaired previously. Not sure how you break one side of a chair. How is that even possible? Makes you wonder what people were doing in the 1920s. But if you look around the back side of the chair, you can see evidence of the repair, some nails. We'll have to pull that out. A little bit of glue leaking out as well. These are dinged up on the front, chewed up a little bit. We'll sand and repair that. If these look familiar, recently we worked on a set, turned a vanity into these nightstands, and we used some paintings by Gustav Klimt. This set sold quickly, but there were several other pieces along with it, including an incredible dresser that we're working on right now. But the chair and the bench both came with this set, so that's a bit of a preview what this wood might look like when we're done. Getting right into it with the fabric removal here. You'll notice these staples were put on with a consumer grade stapler. They're not even fully in. This first layer of fabric was completely chewed up. Looks like an animal got to it.
Bad dog, what did you do?
At first we thought that was mohair, but it's definitely synthetic. Fabric like that was popular in the 40s to 60s. But this next layer was more of interest. These floral patterns, this is not woven, the ink is stamped on there in multiple layers. These were popular in the 1950s. This is another example, seen oftentimes in furniture, but sometimes in clothing, dresses as well. Today people call this style granny chic or cottage chic, but we're pretty sure this is what we're dealing with here. So whoever owned it must have upgraded it, likely in the 1950s. These staples really come out so easily. Staples were not used in upholstery until later on, but it's the next layer that's more of interest to us. Noticing right away, this is a very Art Deco pattern, almost like a fountain or a feather type motif, very popular in Art Deco. We thought at first this was 1930s, now we're thinking possibly late 20s, right around 1930. Look at the dry rot, the dust falling, trying not to have a sneeze attack here. Times like this, I put on my base camp dust mask. Helps a lot. We've got a discount code below and in the description. Looking at the underside, and this fabric is actually blue. We're thinking this is rayon. Put on with tacks, another sign of earlier upholstery. This fabric is really coming apart. There's the original cotton batting. We're going to keep the seat. That piece we'll glue back on there. And look at this. In the corners, we found these roofing nails. Not sure how that wasn't poking up through the bottom of the seat. Unbelievable. Rather than a strategy or technique, this is 4 different sizes of nails. We're thinking this is a sign of the Great Depression. Our best bet is right around 1930, perhaps. These were manufactured when people were just using whatever they could. So this likely wasn't a choice, using the different sizes of nails. Look at the dust from the foam, just kind of crumbling, falling apart. Eager to get this cleaned up and out of here. So look at the beveled edge here on this seat base. That's for the chair. It's kind of interesting that the bench doesn't have that. That will help protect the fabric. So we're just going to mimic that using the belt sander here. We're going to get right in, work on that repair here. The glue had already let go. There wasn't even much in there. Again, it's just hard to imagine how a chair could even break this way. If there's any glue in there, we want to make sure we get it out. We've got a recess bit here. We're clamping prior to adding glue, just to make sure that screw will go in there perfectly. Now that we've opened the pores of the wood, we'll get some wood glue down in there. That's just an initial stab at the repair there, but it's looking good. These backs are so gorgeous, we're going to use stripper to get the initial finish off of here. We'll still come back in with a light sanding, but we want to protect that beautiful veneer. You can already see that there's book-matched wood in there, and we want to preserve that as well as we can. This product helps get rid of the stripper, getting all the chemicals off of there, preparing the wood. Looking at some of those gashes on the legs there, so we'll get that sanded and smooth. This piece does have some interesting wood, but the legs are quite plain. Getting these metal cleats off of here. After we've sanded, we'll put some nylon glides on at the end. Making some decisions, we're looking at the places where they featured veneer and the most attractive wood. And that's really what we want to highlight with the chair and the bench. Almost a butterfly effect there with that book match. Even the backside has some attractive wood to show, and that's fun to find. Got a bit more hand sanding to do here. We've got a glue injector here. Pretty simple repair, just to get that strip of wood back down. Let that dry overnight. Looking pretty clean, we're getting close here. Dealt with those gashes on the front. And that break turned out pretty good here. Gonna get that perfectly smooth. Got some touch up to do on the back as well. Adding a natural stain here. Just want to bring out the natural look of the wood. Oil-based stain. Fun to see these colors popping again. We definitely want to leave this portion intact and visible. It's actually prettier than we were expecting, those nice horizontal grains. We like to do this just this center support on the bottom of the chair. We're going to keep that visible and keep that natural. Not the most interesting wood down there, but you can see it does have a little bit of color in it. That's the natural color showing through. So we're going to let that stain dry, and this is bonus item number 2. We don't make a full video for everything that we do, but this is a 1920s French tray top nightstand. This is just before Art Deco really took off. But we've got a woman here with a dress that has Art Deco and Art Nouveau elements in it. Carved wood. Those are solid brass knobs. The drawer pulls, we've put a vinyl on the inside of the drawer. It's a piece that we're very happy with. This is going to be listed in our store by the time this video is published. We'll put a link to our store in the description. Now we're going to add a coat of lacquer. We're starting with satin. We will finish with semi-gloss, but we're going to do a couple coats of satin first. Look at that, the chair especially. Just really beautifully showing through that double book match. And the top of that chair is interesting enough to preserve the top of the back, but this needs some work. It's almost like a bird's eye maple, but not quite there. So we've decided to add black lacquer to the remaining, the more plain segments of wood in this piece. Black was a common choice in Art Deco furniture, and it just really helps the featured grains to pop more. We oftentimes reference and mention Donald Desky, who really liked to use his black lacquers. You can see there already, just causing the highlighted areas to pop even more. So here's the top of that chair back. Got some grain showing through, some character. We want to see if we can match this. Get that to look a bit closer. First off, we're using a product called Background This is a Mohawk product. Pretty plain, but it's just that, it's background. We don't want to completely cover everything here. We want to let some details show through. Wood always has irregularities. Again, that's the aim. Here's the first layer with background. Raw cherry is the color of background that we're using. Next, we've got the Blendal Lacquer Powders. We're going to do a thinner sort of a wash. The wood grain that we're trying to match from the chair isn't real heavy. It's a light effect. Using more French lacquer than usual here. Now there's a difference between shadow toner and regular toner. We are starting with regular toner and it is a bit heavier, so you need to be really cautious. Starting on the back because that's not as noticeable, but that is working. This was burnt umber toner. Now we're actually coming back with a black shadow toner. That's a lot more forgiving. Just kind of darken what you've done. So looking at what we're mimicking, and here's the result, and it's looking pretty good. This is a shot out in the sun, which is an unforgiving look at your work, and that should pass. So now we're going to work on that seat for the bench. Checking those beveled edges, it's ready for fabric. First we have some high density upholstery grade foam. This is actually a turkey cutter. One of the best ways to cut foam. We've got some spray glue. It dries pretty quickly. Behaves much better if you do give it a minute or so before sticking the pieces together. Then that'll grip really nicely. Kind of curving the edge around now and adhering that as well. Staples will help make sure that stays in place. Adding a layer of muslin. This is sort of a temporary covering just to hold that foam in place. And if anybody decides they want to change the fabric in the future, they can do so without this whole cover coming apart. This is Dacron just for some added comfort. This will be a firm seat cushion with comfort as well, trying to balance those two. Just about ready for the exciting part. So here finally is a look at the fabric. We're going for a roaring 20s look. Kind of the Great Gatsby era, you could say. Gold against a muted black. And these shapes are kind of like pinwheels, kind of like fireworks. We think this fabric really captures the end of the roaring 20s. Going to pin that in place, working from the center outward. There you have it. We hope this is a nice match for the bench and the chair. We believe it is. This is bonus item number 3. This also goes with the set that we mentioned earlier. It's a combination Art Nouveau and Art Deco end table. This is a very rare combination French tray top leading into an Art Deco waterfall. This did come with the Gustav Klimt set that we showed earlier. Has the same handles. These are original. Some spectacular Bakelite. Polished up so nicely. Has an ample amount of space in the bottom. Interesting wood grain all around. And this, of course, accompanied the chair and the bench that we're working on. So we thought we would show that. This is also available in our store. We will link that below. That one won't get a full video, unfortunately, but we thought it was worth showing. We've got a little bit of touch-up here we saved for the end. That veneer on the front shouldn't take too much to get that taken care of. Back of the chair, definitely worth showing. Beautiful veneer there. Just about there. Add a coat of lacquer to seal that. We were looking at the backs of these pieces and thinking they could use maybe just a slight gold accent. That'll be a really quick addition here. We use bright gold Mohawk brand, sealing that with semi-gloss lacquer. Just a touch of gold can really help sometimes. And there's lots of thin gold lines in the fabric, so we think that's going to be a nice addition as well. Finally, adding those nylon glides on the bottoms of each piece. And the last step, we are going to put the seats back in place with 4 screws on the bottom. And with that...
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
We'll take one more look at the before and then the final product. Oftentimes we'll have chairs or benches left over that we don't really know what to do with. But these ones were so well built they could actually be used. They're sturdy enough to support a person. We had a lot of fun paying tribute to the Roaring '20s with this Art Deco furniture restoration remake. Let us know what you think. These items will be listed separately, but let us know if you're interested in both of them and we can give you a deal. Thank you so much for watching until the end. We appreciate all of the subscriptions, the likes, the comments. All of it does help our channel. We'll be back again soon with another video. But you're welcome back here at Montford Boulevard anytime.